I think Jim Jordan is not out of the mix. I've talked to a lot of people who still support him. I've actually talked to Democrats who trust him at his word. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
Jim Jordan?
Yes, I've talked to Democrats over the last week on who do they trust, even though they wouldn't agree with him on many issues. He is someone.
Jim Jordan from Ohio?
Jim Jordan, are you going to support him?
No.
You're not. Why not?
I'm supporting Kevin McCarthy.
Support Jim Jordan.
I'm supporting Kevin.
Still.
Jim Jordan from Ohio?
Oh, yes, the Jim Jordan from Ohio.
There was talk in the GOP meeting of putting in a temporary speaker for 90 days to provide more time to figure out a plan.
Do you worry this disarray will cost you guys the majority?
I think a lot of things have happened so far that make a real damage for us moving forward.
Some competition for Kevin McCarthy's old job, and it's Kevin McCarthy. You can see it all on the sexy new reality show, 90 Day McCarthy. Because even though he claims he doesn't want his job back, Kevin McCarthy keeps acting like the House Speaker. When asked why he's just hanging around, McCarthy gave this response.
I got nowhere else to go!
I want to talk about the next Speaker of the House. Oh, what a shit show this is going to be.
Roses are red, I'm up in heaven, whatever you do, don't vote for Kevin. In a narrow vote, they finally chose someone to be the nominee to possibly then be Speaker of the House. Indiana congressman and man in Mars atmosphere without a helmet, Steve Scalise.
It only took him 15 times to pick the worst speaker in the history of the world. I wonder how many times it'll take this.
Ohio representative and dog in a man suit. Jim Jordan.
I've already tasted chaos, and I don't want to taste it again.
I got arrested. Can you believe it? That's the mugshot. I never thought I'd be taken. I wonder what my father and mother are saying as they look down.
We should have loved him more. We should have hugged him just once. Forgive us, God. Forgive us, God, for the evil we have unleashed upon this world. The very badly failing Forbes magazine, which lost most of its relevance long ago.
Who do you think it's going to be?
And which knows less about me than Stormy Daniels, who doesn't know me at all. How did he get to Stormy Daniels? Oh, that's right, I forgot. The night that they had sex, she spanked him with a Forbes magazine. The rudderless Republicans in Congress have moved tantalizingly close to doing the bare minimum. So now, of course, whenever he sees Forbes, he thinks Stormy. Same way she thinks about him whenever she sees a mushroom. It seemed like the House GOP finally got their act together.
Steve Scalise?
Scalise spoke at an event founded by former Ku Klux Klan leader and current white nationalist David Duke, though Scalise later denied knowing that the event was affiliated with neo-Nazis.
He's the only hope of us actually keeping Ukraine funding alive.
Sorry, it was hard to hear what those guys were saying through the hoods. As you'll recall, Santos might be the lyingest liar lying in Congress. Back in May, he was indicted for fraud and misusing campaign funds, and now he faces 10 new federal charges. New York Congressman George Santos, seen here saying, I am a crook. Wire fraud, aggravated identity theft, and false statements to the Federal Election Commission. Let me just say thank you, George Santos. It's been a really tough week in the news, and we needed a treat.
Can you explain the A on your shirt and why you wore it?
I'm wearing the scarlet letter after the week that I just had last week, being a woman up here and being demonized for my vote and for my voice.
Okay, that's a no. McCarthy's allies whispered Scalise wasn't loyal enough, while Scalise's allies whispered back that the speaker didn't trust the elected leadership team, to which Jordan's allies whispered, why are we whispering? Wait, unless you see the guy she was standing next to. That makes more sense. That makes a little...
Who else misses President Trump? I do.
Ooh, do you think it's going to be Hearn? The fallback position for when the other two guys just can't quite cut the mustard?
Oh, man. man. I missed the mean tweets, too. It was the mean tweets that was making us safe. It was making us safe.
New York Representative and airbrush American George Santos.
Or is it going to be Jim Jordan? Oh, Jim Jordan. He has a wide spectrum of experience to call upon to lead our country's most chaotic house in the history of the world.
Speaking of fools, Donald Trump. He is still out on bail and hitting the trail down in West Palm Beach, Florida, last night. He comforted a troubled world rocked by recent tragedy.
This is the worst microphone I think I've ever had. I hope you can hear me back there. Justin, don't pay the bill for this mic. I'm blowing out my voice talking to this stupid mic. This is the worst mic I've ever had.
That is the hardest he's been on a mic since Pence.
Turn up the mic. Is it okay? And then I don't pay a bill and they say, Trump doesn't pay his contractors. It's unbelievable. It's a rotten, lousy mic. The state of it, but it's not my deal. It's not my deal. I have a good mic. I always have. You don't have a good mic, it's a very difficult deal. You walk out for 2 weeks, you're talking, you say, what the hell happened to his voice? The state of Israel is a blessing to the world. Our prayers are with them now.
That was an abrupt. The lighting here is terrible. The deli spread is warm, and they don't have any name brand soda unless you count RC soda, which I do not. Nana loved life and was taken too soon.
Some people actually said they were going to pick Donald Trump, and I said, what a bunch of bullshit. The very next day, Donald Trump endorsed Jim Jordan. Go figure.
When we win next November, it will be an epic political earthquake, the likes of which the world has never seen before. If we don't win, this country is going to be fire hell.
Not fire hell. That's the most famous hell. That's the brand name hell. So let me get this straight. If he wins, epic earthquake. If he loses, fire hell. He really does think that he's the alpha and the omega.
You see white smoke coming from the Capitol Rotunda. It means they've either picked a new speaker or Lauren Boebert is vaping again.
When I die, everybody dies, okay? When I blink, everybody dies for just a little bit, okay? Then they're back. Look, dead, alive, alive. You're dead, you're alive. You're dead, you're alive. Dead, alive, dead, alive. And folks, let me ask you this. Can you believe this microphone?
I wonder if it's because Jim Jordan can keep a secret. Because that motherfucker can.
The world is a mess. The country is a mess. Some of you are a mess, I see here. But you know what? We're trying to clean it up. We still don't have a Speaker of the House, which means nothing can get done in this country, even less nothing than the usual nothing that gets done.
Nuttiest of the nut.
In this country, Republicans took a break from fake impeaching Joe Biden to nominate
the nuttiest of the nutter.
Jim Jordan in a closed-door session, and now we'll spend a night in the fantasy suite with Matt Gaetz.
We're in a situation here where the nuttiest of the nut have taken over the party.
They said that you stole people's identities. Did you steal people's identities? Did you give an identity fraud? What do you have to say to your constituents?
I will not. I have no comment. I was in conference like everyone else without my phone, so I have nothing to talk about. I need to take a look at what.
Did you commit large? That was a pretty basic question.
The answer to that is no. You okay, sir?
Yeah. Santos is expected to plead new phone. Who dis?
Did you charge to your credit card donors money? Did you use their credit cards to reward yourself? That's the allegation.
No. I will look at it.
Why shouldn't you be able to vote? Why should you be able to vote in the Speaker's election? Such a key election when you've been charged with all these crimes.
And that's what it's going to be.
But I really, I can't believe they charged him with identity theft. Can you really blame the guy? Would you want to be George Santos? How much fun would it be if he and Donald Trump wind up sharing a cell together? Wouldn't that be the...
Our best hope is for us to somehow manage to get a piece of shit like Steve Scalise.
I read all of Biden's security people. Can you imagine national defense people. And they said, gee, I hope Hezbollah doesn't attack from the north because that's the most vulnerable spot. I said, wait a minute. You know, Hezbollah is very smart. They're all very smart. The press doesn't like when they say it. You know, I said that President Xi of China, 1.4 billion people, he controls it with an iron fist. I said, he's a very smart man. They killed me the next day. I said he was smart. What am I going to say? But Hezbollah, they're very smart.
Because anybody else is going to fuck up not just America, but the whole world.
Does he know he doesn't have to compliment all the most evil people who have ever lived? Say what you will, and they hate when I say this. Stalin had great teeth, okay? They get mad. They say, oh, why does he say he must have flossed? He was a great flosser, Stalin.
Especially considering what happened just this week, it is important that we don't pick Jim Jordan.
I was tweeted, it's just past 9:40 p.m., and I've yet to hear from the speaker-designate, so I've come to the conclusion that my vote doesn't matter to him. I'm now declaring that I'm an anyone but Scalise, and come hell or high water, I won't change my mind.
That's what it is. And the next time he tries to accost me with a child in my hand, I want him out of here. What's happening? He's an animal. I am holding a child. He is a fucking terrorist sympathizer.
Who?
We're going to look at the video.
Mr. Santos, who?
What happened? Tell us what happened.
Congressman Santos, who?
The gentleman back there.
Wow. I haven't seen him this upset since he lost the NBA championship to Michael Jordan in the Toon Squad. Earlier he played for the Monstars. He played for the Monstars. Dangerous in the paint.
What do you think they're gonna do? I suspect it's whatever Donald Trump tells them.
I don't know how you can ever convince me that President Trump didn't actually win this thing based on all the things you see, the 11 million more votes. He won 19 to 20 bellwether counties. He won Ohio by 8, Iowa by 8, Florida by 3. Somehow it doesn't become. So you go through all the things. I get all that.
It's exactly what the Democrats wanted. They knew President Trump was going to win on election night, but they wanted to keep looking for and finding and counting ballots until they got over the top. They were going to win the election after the election, and that's what they did with this crazy mail-in ballot scheme.
The American people deserve to hear the truth on Wednesday. They deserve to understand what exactly took place in these states where they did not follow the Constitution. They couldn't do it in a constitutional fashion, so they changed election law in an unconstitutional manner. There was fraud on top of the unconstitutional way they ran the election. Then they added fraud on top of it, and that's why President Trump wasn't elected president. Got 11 million more votes than he did in 2016, and House Republicans won 27 of 27 toss-up races. But somehow, the guy who never left his house wins the election. When you have over 70% of the 75 million who voted for President Trump think the election was rigged, that's 50-some million people, over a third of the electorate. That is a very, very unhealthy situation.
Without objection? For what purpose does the gentleman for Arkansas rise?
I move that the House do now adjourn.
The question is on the motion to adjourn. Those in favor shall say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Accordingly, the House stands adjourned until 6 p.m. on Monday, October 16th, 2023.
And Donald Trump told him just this week that foreigners are poisoning the blood of our country. So,
more than willing to fight for our American public, and especially for the troops.
And what does this do to your swing district Republicans? All of this, what does it do to the 18 members from Biden districts?
Well, that all the Democrats voted to try to bring chaos? I think.
No, I mean that you guys can't govern. That you can't govern. You can't let this speak.
I don't know. I don't know. We.
You guys can't even act on an aid package to Israel because things are stalled.
Ask me a question.
Mr. Womack, leave it.
Has the rest of the Scalise whip team got on board with Jim Jordan? Or do you think that
Anybody on the Scalise whip team gotten on board, Mr. Jordan?
All right, so Neil, if the question is, can somebody emerge in the Republican conference that can go get 217? Right. The answer is no. That is not a practical outcome unless and until the situation in the world becomes so dire that we have to do something, that we're forced to do something, that the sense of urgency kind of takes over. We're not there yet. And there are a lot of very stubborn people.
But we're already there now, right? We're at that point, right, Congressman?
Well, I think we are, but still, that's not helping members get past their separate differences on where we are as a conference.
Understood.
So 124 votes is not near enough to be able to say we're going to go down that room tonight and vote for the next speaker.
And you watch it in Washington right now with our party in charge of the House. They can't even pick a speaker. Now that makes us look like the gang that can't shoot straight, everybody.
We had a group that sabotaged Speaker McCarthy, and now we've had a group that sabotaged, Steve Scalise. Both of them great people.
How does that make you guys look?
Makes us look like a bunch of idiots.
Of course, it's all projection. The only person that is poisoning the blood of America is Donald Trump. I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. Y'all take it easy.
Over a week now, right? Since Republicans ousted Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy in favor of their preferred leader, madness.
House Republicans have just elected a Speaker nominee who in 16 years in this Congress hasn't passed a single bill because his focus has not been on the American people. His focus has been on peddling lies and conspiracy theories and driving division amongst the American people. House Republicans now have a choice. There are only two paths forward. On the one hand, House Republicans can continue to triple down on the chaos, the dysfunction, and the extremism that has been visited upon the American people as a result of the House Republican Civil War. On the other hand, traditional Republicans can break away from the extremism, partner with Democrats on an enlightened bipartisan path forward so we can end the recklessness and get back to doing the business of the American people.
Madness.